paid protesters or secret Democrats. I want to know what happened. What happened to this campaign promise? Tariff Trump, please. I just want to say thank you for the campaign.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about tariffs because it seems like it's hitting everybody now, even the MAGA supporters who thought this wasn't going to affect them. So tariffs were supposed to be a win for Americans, right? Well, at least that's what many MAGA voters thought and believe. But now the reality is setting in, and it's not what they expected, right? The very people who cheered for these policies are now beginning to feel the burn in their wallets, their purses. Prices are up, imports are down. And guess who's footing the bill? It's not China, it's the American consumers. And the MAGA community is boiling over this because what was pitched as economic patriotism is now turning out to be a financial gut punch. They didn't see this coming, in other words, but now they can't ignore this. Well, we're about to watch some of these clips together. You and me are gonna watch these clips, and I want you guys to leave your own 2 cents in the comment section down below. Please remember that on this channel we don't support bullying. We're here for educational purposes, so make sure you leave your comments. We don't want our comments to be flagged, right? So watch these clips and I'll be right back at the end of this video to give my own 2 cents. Watch this.
If tariffs don't work, why do 170 other countries have tariffs on American goods? Try using critical thinking instead of your typical anti-Trump rhetoric.
What happened to this campaign promise? What happened to this campaign promise? All across Pennsylvania, every highway was dotted with these signs. What happened? JD Vance stood in grocery stores and said, egg prices up. What happened? What happened to promises made, promises kept? You promised us low prices. Everything just went up 25%. You promised us higher stock market. Stock market's down 5%. There are percentages everywhere that are dropping. What happened to this campaign promise, Trump? Tariff Trump, what happened? We want to tell you thank you. We want to tell the Republican congressman thank you, but they're no longer doing town halls. Because they're saying that the constituents that are showing up are all paid protesters or secret Democrats. I want to know what happened. What happened to this campaign promise? Tariff Trump, please. I just want to say thank you for the campaign.
Y'all, they still think that these tariffs are going to eliminate taxes on Americans.
President Trump is trying to use these tariffs to get rid of taxes.
Come here. Recent events suggest otherwise, Mama. You think he's gonna get rid of taxes? Tariffs are a tax. They're a regressive tax. Your dude just wiped out $5 trillion in the stock market in 2 days. Dow dropped 2,200 points in 1 day. I wonder what Trump would have to say to that. His own words. Hey, and now China has clapped back with a 34% tariff on the United States. So now we're just in a full-blown trade war. The way these people just move the goalpost consistently every single time, like they're very good at it. This is not what you voted for. And if you say it is, you're either being intellectually dishonest or you're a moron. How, pray tell, is this helping anyone?
So Trump just destroyed my business, my small business. Trump announced his massive tax plan on items coming from other countries. He says that the countries are going to pay that. That's false. It's the person bringing it in. And I own a small business. I've been in operation since 2018. I've been incredibly successful, basically doubling my business every single year. And it's not a product that can be made here in the United States. But I've had a lot of people say, well, what about the tariffs before? Yeah, I didn't have any. That was 0% tariffs for me, 0% tax. He added 10% in February. Then he added another 10% in March, and then yesterday he just announced an additional 34% on top of that. So for all products coming in from China, that is now 54%. So most retail goods, stores, products, there's about a 30 to 40% profit margin, okay? Profit margin. That profit margin, a lot of the times, that's not even a living wage, okay? But that 30 to 40% is how the people that own that business are able to live. And then there's still other expenses on top of that. 54% tax is more than the profit that most retailers or business owners would make. Well, a 54% tax. And I'm just paying that money straight to Trump.
Trump's tariffs just triggered a global market crash. But the real story is the world's reaction and what it says about America's place on the world stage. Canada is already stepping into the void. Mark Carney, the new Canadian Prime Minister, has said that if America won't step up to lead, Canada will. That is not a subtle message. Europe isn't waiting around for more favorable policy either. They are refusing to play ball with Trump's trade war. And what's more, Germany's considering pulling its strategic gold reserves out of where they're stored in New York. Why? Because US leadership is no longer seen as trustworthy. And China has retaliated, hitting US goods with a 34% tariff, which is gonna affect farmers, oil, autos, semiconductors, the entire MAGA industrial complex. Trump's answer? He went online to say that China panicked, which is crazy given that China's now setting the pace, having global meetings with Europe, not us. But here's what should really scare you. Russia is facing 0 tariffs under Trump's new plan. There are other sanctioned countries who got tariffs. Iran got hit with a 10% tariff, but our trade with Russia was $1 million more than our trade with Iran in 2024. At best, this is incompetence. At worst, something way darker. Because Trump actually posted a video saying he's crashing the economy on purpose, allegedly to lower oil prices, like it's some kind of genius 4D chess move to crash our entire economy. But the result is clear. The US is losing international power. Our allies are cutting ties and global markets are in freefall. And so we are left with 3 possible explanations. 1, Trump is genuinely this dumb. 2, he's working in the interests of foreign powers, probably Russia. Or 3, this is a coordinated fascist power grab, where oligarchs crash the economy on purpose, because even if their portfolios take a hit, they know that everyone else will be so much worse off that they'll be able to seize power without resistance. And honestly, it could be all 3. Because this doesn't look like policy, it looks like sabotage. Follow No Dumb Left Behind for more updates.
I wanted to take a minute to try to explain these tariffs to the whiny liberals out there. You know what, come to think of it, I don't know a goddamn thing, actually. I think windmills give people cancer. I have a real concern about communism. Couldn't tell you what the word means, but it starts with a C, same as China, so. But if there's one thing that I know, that my people know, it's that no matter how wrong you are, no matter how stupid or dumb you look, or embarrassing or shameful, if you just yell louder than the person across from you, you will always come out on top. MAGA Mike out.
You're gonna pay more for regular goods. Yeah, and that's always the argument. Tariffs raise prices, as if we haven't already been paying the price for 30 years in lost American jobs, closed American factories, and dead American towns. We traded American manufacturing for cheap socks, and now people are shocked it's time to pay up? Foreign manufacturers kept prices low by paying workers $2 a day. They don't have labor laws, they don't have safety, they don't have freedom. But hey, your phone case was $3. Is it worth it? All of those savings, they cost millions of American jobs. You pay less at the store, but you pay more taxes, more debt, more dependency. And now that somebody finally stands up for American workers, you cry about a price bump? Tariffs aren't punishment. They're pressure. They're leverage. They're how we're going to stop being everybody else's discount rack. If other countries want to trade without us, let them. We'll be just fine once we stop selling out our own people. You want cheap or you want strong? You can't have both. And right now, America is choosing strength. Follow if you're done apologizing for putting your country first, because this fight isn't about prices, it's about pride.
All right, I just want to make sure that everyone understands what Donald Trump did the other night with his fucking stupid fucking chart with all his tariffs on it. He brings up this fucking tariff chart. He's like, look, folks, look at what they're charging us. Countries don't pay fucking tariffs, you goofy motherfuckers. And I'm sorry about the fucking language, but this shit is getting ridiculous. Countries do not pay tariffs. Consumers pay tariffs. So all that Trump showed you is how much people that are consumers in other countries pay for goods that are imported from the United States. And he made you believe that we pay those tariffs. and this is fair for us to charge half tariffs for them. Consumers pay tariffs. He has you dumb motherfuckers believing that countries pay tariffs and that somehow the United States taxpayers are getting fucked over because citizens of other countries have to pay a little bit higher for goods imported from the United States. What does that have to do with you? You know what has to do with you? The other side of the chart, where Trump put these new reciprocal tariffs in, because you know what? That's the percentage that your goods are going to go up if you purchase a product that's imported from one of our trade partners. We import $3 trillion worth of goods a year. Everyone's prices are going up. And he made you believe that this is fair. Fair? You got to be a fucking idiot to believe that.
My question to you is why? Why do you want Americans to do these jobs? I'm not even joking, all right? My entire family is blue collar immigrants. They all came down from Montreal in the 1940s, couldn't speak a word of English, but they came down here to work in the fabric mills here in Rhode Island because they were working on farms and they were poor in Montreal and they wanted their kids to get a better education. So they started working in fabric mills. Dirty, dangerous, back-breaking work. My Pepe got his fucking eye knocked out of his skull. Had a glass eye my entire life because it got knocked out by a weaving machine. Sounds great, right? Let's have more people do that. But anyway, so fast forward, their kids had a better education, but a lot of them still worked doing factory work. They all worked for GM. They worked out. My one uncle worked for Electric Boat, working very hard, making fucking cars and submarines, working third shift, back-breaking, exhausting, physically taxing work. They were considered good jobs at the time, though, because they were union jobs, and they were doing them so they could what? Make a better life for their kids and send their kids to college so their kids wouldn't have to work in a goddamn factory. Is this what you want? Is this now what we want for our kids? We want our kids to grow up and get a good education so they can work in a shower curtain mill. Is that what you want? You want your daughter to do well in school so she can go make toothbrushes. This is what you're talking about. And not only that, all the jobs left because capitalists who own the corporations didn't like all the what? Regulations and all the what? Unions. So now what you're saying is you want your kids to go work in a toilet brush factory with no regulations and no unions. Because what are the other options? You think these jobs that need to come back and be done by Americans for whatever goddamn reason, because if you want to go have a miserable life and go die young, you can work in a coal mine currently. Those jobs are available. Or if you want to do physical labor, you could also repair some roads, build some buildings. Those jobs exist. If you want to do back-breaking work, you could go be a nurse or a CNA, something like that. All of these jobs exist that are difficult, that are painful, that are exhausting. Nobody's really wanting to do those either. So, what Americans are you giving these jobs to?
Okay, so let's talk about this, right? So after months of both claims, campaign trail promises, and chants over America first, America, make America great again. The reality has landed with a slap in the face. Many MAGA voters believe that these tariffs will shield their jobs, revive manufacturing, and punish foreign nations for taking advantage of the US, right? That's what they thought. That's what MAGA, the people who voted MAGA, this is what they thought, like for real. And for a while, the idea sounded all good on paper, right? It was patriotic, it was defiant, and it felt empowering at the moment, those days. And now the reality is setting in. And the voters who once stood on, or rather behind these trade wars, are now facing a fallout. Because here's the truth. This is how tariffs work. Tariffs don't hurt foreign government. You should know that. Tariffs hurt consumers. And those consumers at the moment, let's just say Americans, right? That includes families, those who like to buy things online, workers, small business owners, and of course the MAGA supporters who thought this wasn't going to affect them because they thought they were voting for their own interests, but in reality they actually voted against their own interests. And just in case you haven't heard, China has just hit US with 34% of tariffs on US imports. This is a direct retaliation on the tariffs that US imposed on China. This wasn't just a warning shot, right? It was a declaration. And in response, Donald Trump has promised a 50% slap on China, on Chinese goods, if China doesn't back down. If China doesn't say, okay, we're just gonna forget about this 34% that we imposed in retaliation of your tariffs. So if China doesn't back down, Donald Trump plans on slapping China with, I don't know if it's 50 or about 50% of tariffs on Chinese imports into the US. And at this moment, I'm not gonna say this is not a negotiation anymore. This is more like a trade war between US and China, and this is more like I can say this is a full blown. This is something that can lead to an economy shutting down. Let's be real, and it's escalating by day. Stocks are dropping. I mean, this is wild. And what is more shocking on all this, you may ask, right? While China and US are going head to head on each other's throat, yeah, Russia is not receiving any tariff increments from the US. So this is what is shocking everyone. So Russia is not paying the price. Russia is not feeling the pinch. It's the Americans, the American farmers, the American small business owners who are feeling the pinch, who are feeling the hurts in their wallet. Do you know this is going to cause so many families, so many small business owners to lose their businesses? That is if they haven't already, because at this rate things are moving at. Because I don't know, China has got up to 9th or 9. That is tomorrow, right? If today is what? Let me check the date. Yeah, China has got up to tomorrow to take back their tariffs imposed on US. Otherwise, they're gonna receive an extra 50% tariffs on top of the 30. Is it 31, 34%? Yeah, China is gonna receive 50 more on whatever they have. Now tell me where this is going to land. All those who thought they were voting for cheaper grocery prices. So for those who voted for lower grocery prices, more salaries, more money in their pockets, many jobs, and economic relief, well, guess what? You're not going to have that. I guess at this point you're saying this is not what you promised us, Mr. President. In fact, what is happening is the exact opposite. I watched all the campaigns. I used to follow, this so close, like this close, because grocery prices are gonna go high, right? And you guys are gonna be receiving less imports, because I mean, who wants to buy, products, goods with that kind of tariff? So the cost of living is gonna go high. The cost of the businesses, prices are gonna go high because of this. This is so painful for most Americans, for most of the people in the US, especially for those who try to tell you people to say, whatever you are thinking is going to happen once you put this person in power, it's not going to happen. I'm guessing MAGA is feeling this right now the most, the pain. They're feeling it the most because obviously they voted against their own interest. At this point, we can say that. Because many of you believe that by voting MAGA, this was going to help you somehow, right? To protect your industries, to protect your jobs, your way of life. But that's not how tariffs work. Tariffs are hidden taxi. I can put it that way. Tariffs are hidden tax paid by the consumers, paid by the nation, by the people at home, by the people within the country, the receivers, the consumers. I hope that makes sense. So now reality is checking in. This isn't winning. We can say this at this point. This is losing, and it's quite painful in slow motion. This is bigger than politics, bigger than party lines. This is about the future of the American economy. And whether we are working in an era of long-term economic conflicts, that benefits no one. And if you feel that this doesn't concern you or scare you, even just a little bit, maybe this is the time for you to think again, to reconsider again. I must say we are watching history unfold in real time. We are witnessing the consequences of the choices made at the ballot box, driven by slogans, soundbites, which is now colliding with the complicity of global trades. And so I leave you with this, my watchers, my subscribers, and especially to those who casted their votes in hope for cheaper groceries. I'm talking about the MAGA family. This is for you. How do you feel now? And to those who thought this was going to benefit them, has it? Has it though? And to those who are still thinking that tariffs is just a way of making China pay, do you really understand like who's really footing the bill? This is on everyone, including those who didn't cast their votes on red. Guess what? You've just involved everyone in this mess. Everyone is gonna pay for your mistakes, for the mistakes that you made at the ballot box. And this brings my video to the end. I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you, I appreciate your time, and I want you guys to engage in this video. I know for some reason YouTube is flagging my clips, my videos. They are not getting out there by to be seen by a lot of people. I would appreciate if you can engage on this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and please make sure you leave your own thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful.